All right. Friends, good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure, Chairman Northern Region, Mr. Rajiv Bajaj, other office bearers, Mr. Jain, and my senior colleagues sitting here in this hall in the morning. It's a pleasure to be here, always to be there with our institutions, though we have been visiting on and off to various other fora. But coming to our institutions always been delighted one. And that was a fresh morning when we are having together to discuss about a topic that has been started way back, I said the history of 1988. We started moving in direction to have the complete secretarial audit given to the company secretary. Things have not materialized, but 88, my coming to that position is why I am going to introduce this subject. Because many times you start something to get something in your fold, but it generally takes, sometimes it takes decade, but don't lose your heart. Successive councils pursued, successive president followed this agenda. Sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's very aggressive. And I remember this 88 when this new amendment, major amendment that has taken place, we started moving in direction that look, now you have recognized the profession of practicing side of the profession into the new law by having this certification of annual return of the listed companies. Keeping in view that aspect, we had come out with a blue book. It's called Blue Book. And this blue book has been provided insight to our professional colleagues, both in the employment as well as in the practice. I am referring this because we have sizable number of youngsters, those who join the profession 5 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line, because they know the history of the profession, how the profession got shaped. And today we have the full-fledged statutory recognition in the statute itself. Therefore, it's very important. I must welcome all my chapters, those who have been connected with through web link, and acknowledge their presence, their office bearers for determination and the topic. That is very, very fresh topic for all of us to ponder with, because now work has started now flowing into this direction. Of course, I can get back into the literary history, and the history, it's very important to know the future. And therefore, in this direction, friends, let me take you to introduce the subject with this small history of 88 onwards. We have been started fostering into this area, and finally we got a recognition in the year 2013 when both the houses of parliament, of course 2012, the Lok Sabha has first done and the Rajya Sabha has done in 2013, and finally we got the assent of the President of India, and finally we got 204 inserted into the statute book and started being operationalized effective from 1st of April 2014. So therefore this journey 88 to 2014, that is a long journey, but have patience. Many things and many more things going to happen to our profession, provided you have to work. That is a message basically at the opening stage. It's a message what we have been now for the last two and a half decades. We have been associated each other in the organization. Somebody is having more than that 3 decades associated with the institutions, and they're working relentlessly inside and outside. Whether you are this side of the table or that side of the table, because there is a penetration to the other group, a smaller group who's called council, to a smaller group called a regional council, and so on and so forth. That to have this kind of interaction and that penetration that culminated into the actions by the government, by the regulators, and so on and so forth. Now, therefore, friends, the introduction, why this required? Now, to remember this today, this is the era of now the open economy. It's not that era that we have started way back in 1991. I need not require to emphasize our 1991 policy of government to bring down the regulatory regime and come to the conclusion of having a very open economy systems. Now, through this concept, perhaps that we have started moving into direction of liberalized era, open system, transparent system, disclosure systems, and so on and so forth. And therefore, in the process, then you have many other complexity. Because as a regulators, it is very easy to regulate when the matter is coming before you in the file. But if the matter is not coming before you in the file, because you need not require to come before everything, for every actions you are required as a corporate, then what to do? You are allowing the corporates to flow. in its own upward swing, like swing in the different directions, in the upward and downward. And in the process, role of professionals, particularly company secretary, has started now gaining momentum. And therefore now today, non-compliance is going to be viewed differently. Remember that SEBI came into being 1992. And thereafter now SEBI has started now putting a kind of monetary penalty. That the philosophy that behind economic offences should be dealt with. We have been now talking everywhere. Economic offences should be dealt with economically and then putting economic money. Instead of putting somebody behind the bar, and the judgment of Deutsche Bank by Supreme Court saying that a corporate should not be fastened with the imprisonment. When the liability comes, an officer who is in default, company and officer who is in default, then company should be kept away, because though it is a natural person, not a natural person, legal person. But Deutsche Bank judgment was a landmark judgment which allow the corporates to be away from the imprisonment kind of situation. Prior to that, it was coming to, a lot of controversy happening that the company, and through company who would be the ultimate parent company head, would be fastened with a liability. That has been now rested, put to rest. Now, officer who is in default on the helm of affairs should be the person who would be, in case of any default, in compliance of non-compliance of various statutes, be it Companies Act, security laws, foreign exchange management, and so on and so forth, required to be looked into and viewed accordingly, whether it is a unintentional, intentional, mens rea, etc., etc. It is to be decided by the regulator and then down below the court of the competent jurisdiction. Now, therefore, twofold area why we need a company secretarial audit. And I remember 2009, I'll get back to one slide on this 2009, when the voluntary guidelines of the persistence approach after post-Satyam, the institute has now met, viewed, and finally government has agreed in the form of non-voluntary. Now, two main area to protect the interest of the stakeholder. Large canvas. What is secretarial audit it meant for? The secretarial audit is a non-financial transactions being viewed by the professionals of competence. And now the finally let down and zero down by the regulators or a statute and the legislature that this competent professional happened to be only a company secretary. Remember the 2009. I'll get back a little later. One slide I have kept it knowingly here. So these are the two folds, the duty. The secondly, to avoid unwarranted legal actions by the law enforcing agencies and other, persons as well. Like, class action suit. You remember? 242 has come here, class action suit. In America, in Europe and other jurisdictions, we have class action, very robust kind of thing as a check from the civil society, from the activist. If you are polluting the environment, class action is very much there. If you are doing something wrong, your class action is now very much coming. So these are the third party intervention into the corporate's democracy. So this broadly, the SA, the secretarial audit is now deal with these two major area, and how to mitigate, localize and neutralize, rather you can say, the concept of by introducing a robust system within the organization for non-financial check. Because financial you rest with our other brother who is now there called chartered accountant or a statutory auditor of the company. This in the old age concept that if you are doing some transactions, it should be validated by third party. Now, therefore, this clause 49, one more rigors that has been now put in there long back, of course, but it started putting a kind of, demarcation in the line of putting this essay, that it says what compliance report concerning all laws applicable to the company should be notified periodically to be discussed in the board and then to notify if required to the various authorities, say stock exchange to begin with, because all listed companies required clause 49. It was, I'm talking about old, I'm not, for the time being not, but it is in a new work also emphasized on the periodic discussions. Now therefore, you need to have a kind of check, a kind of, someone to, validate the veracity of the transactions that have been now entered into or not being disclosed in the documents properly by the internal management. So someone has to come and pinpoint. Therefore, this is another concept. Now let me, I mentioned, and let me, go back to this issue of your putting this secretarial audit. 2009, we all remember this. MCA came out with a booklet called Non-Voluntary Guidelines. And voluntary guidelines, it talks of about, remember that, the president of the then president of India, Her Excellency, that come out with a document, piece of, as discussed by the ministry. And then finally they decided secretarial audit concept being addressed. We were very happy, at least something, so as activist, sitting other side of the table, as activist pushing this matter very closely within the organization, outside the organization, creating a kind of armies, and then come the Satyam. And Satyam has now given systems that require non-financial transactions to be validated by a competent professionals. It was very difficult to push through the word only company secretary at that stage, let me very honestly share with, and therefore the word competent professionals. People are very happy, and there was internal discussion and there was understanding between these two sides of the table. That look, we go with these competent professionals. So you have to now, come out with a, documentary, kind of, your requirement as such. How you are going to claim yourself to be a competent professional for the legislature to legislate a law to allow you exclusive area to venture into the secretarial audit. So these are the, lot of time. This gives a lot of kind of, internal debate. Again, that all our friends, this side and that side, join hands together to start working on this. And we got, I tell you, 2009 and thereafter, people have started now interacting with the secretarial audit on voluntary basis. Certain corporates, a dozen of corporates, or maybe, more than that, they have started now looking at the role of company secretaries in validating the secretarial audit full-fledged, and they started publishing the report of the auditors. I know many, I don't want to deal with, but yeah, we are in the public domain. 2009 onward, explicitly, they were started now looking the company secretaries to deal with this matter, and started getting it report being published in the annual report. We collated in our institutions. We discussed this. Look, these are the reports. These are the companies. Of course, large-based company, listed company. They have started looking these company secretaries to associate with their transactions. Got it collated, put up a case before the body called Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and finally we have in a position to convince. I don't want to go back the history again, how much time that has taken place and how many ins and outs that has gone by. But finally, the law is, now today we are having a legislature. Our legislature has, adopted this new law clause, 204. I'm very happy that finally ins and outs. Don't want to deal with Mr. Jain is there. He is now smiling. All these internals. Anyway, these are the, lot of things that has gone by. Please be assured, the council, the institute, and sum total of all of us, we are all one. There is no division. There is no discussion this side and that side. We all are working for the promotion of the profession. Many times it happens, perceived to be, the people are doing something differently. No way. There is no hidden, there is no second, there is no, everyone is now on their own. They have been trying to push through the business. And business is that to have more and more recognitions come to the fold of the company secretaries, and they should discharge. Because and in the process, when we are discussing with the organizations and with the regulators, they do come out with a lot of excuses, lot of issues they raise pertaining to certain person or persons having associated with this kind of transactions and not coming up to the expectations. That's right. But the answer is, you look, we have a large society. You can't expect all Satyajug system that everybody is now looking the same way what a Raja, a king is now looking or perceiving to be looked by the citizen of the kingdom. No way. You have in the society, you have in all the yuga, whether it's a Satyajug, whether it's a Kalajug, or whether it's a Treta and Dwapar, I think it's all a yuga. You have the society comprising of these two elements, those who are doing honestly something as per the extreme, as per the mandate, as per the dictum or sermons of the seniors or the regulators or called kingdoms, and many people are there flouting the law and they are putting behind the jail bar. At that time also it's happened. So please remember that if our friends, our brothers, sisters, if they are associated in certain things, but there is a message from today, and every time the constant message from the institutions or the regulators or the, it is the duty of all of us, please, to go into the deeper, to tell our brothers and sisters, those who are associated with the professional activities, please do their job very diligently, come to the expectations and come down and try to get the blessings of the, the legislature, the blessings of the regulators and society and the corporates to which you have been associated with. By doing your good job, money will follow. You may sometimes feel, something like that. But at the same time, my only humble appeal, because this will culminate into bringing down the level. Today the level is, I'll make some political statement perhaps. The legal statement is going to be here, but some political statements that to bring down, if you can assist yourself and do some good job, I'm sure the regulators, I'm sure the government of the day, I'm sure the society at large, I'm sure the corporates itself, the CEOs of the big corporate, they will start asking, no, we want voluntary, all the, companies, my small companies to be also looked into by sectoral audit. I want to be, free, because lot many other risks associated with. They will come forward. And I'm sure that will be compelling the organizations as well as the regulator to bring down the level of 250 crores turnover or 50 crores, that is a political statement. So I'm just keeping for the timing political statement, because today we are here more into going into the deeper of the subject, and essay is the core of heart. It's a core of heart from all my friends sitting here, those who are not sitting there, watching somewhere in some other past, because essay was a dream project that has come true. The essay I'm talking about essay in the sense of sectoral audit always been. The essay is a dream project. The council has a dream sometime, 20 years back. And then finally we got this today in the form of our legislature. Now friends, thereafter, this legislature now today has now put into, and MCA has now come out with a requirement of, but please do not mind. As I mentioned to you in my opening part, voluntary guidelines, 2009. Normally I kept one slide for this 209. The reason is that many corporates started adopting on voluntarily basis. And I'm sure those who are even not going to be covered, mandatory requirement of 50 crores, even less than that, they will prefer XYZ PCAs to deal with that matter, to undertake this assignment, do it on voluntarily, because nothing is now bar for the corporates to take charge of the responsibility of compliance. Here is the job of compliance or comply or explain. If you don't comply, explain. If you don't comply or don't explain, the whole world is now looking on this concept of comply or explain theory. When you don't comply or don't explain, if you do not explain in your reports, periodically or otherwise, or annual report of the board, you would be called a willful defaulter. I'm using the word willful defaulter. And if you are a willful defaulter year and thereafter, you would be seen differently. But if you are a defaulter, you have to prove that I am not a willful defaulter. And in that context, the regulators will see a different way. He's having different his eyes to look at this, whether it's a willful or not. But if consistently in 3 years down the line or 5 years, if your review is happening, and if you are consistently doing something wrong here or there, sometimes this particular chapter, sometimes that particular chapter, therefore, no corporate would like to be called blacklisted or called under the quote unquote willful defaulter and to be punished and to be proceeded with, because you have to comply with, and particularly if you are a listed company or intend to be listed in the bourses, because now the new government has started now looking, the IPOs era is going to be evolved, as being now seen in the couple of days news item. So I don't know, I'm not a Jyotisi, I don't know, but look at this, today the concept floated by the new government came into power couple of days back, joining, the new era. They are started now thinking in direction of IPO era. IPO era here is that we have seen 92, 93, 91, 90s. But of course we don't want that kind of era where Panwala having a registered office at the pan shop. A company we and you and he, myself have incorporated. I'm not saying, I have associated, but like that we have been associated with, our brothers have been associated with information of a company having registered office in Pan ke Dukan, in Karol Bagh. But things are going to be changed. Now today, in this era to this era, another 10 years, 15 years, we have seen a different mindset change. And the change is now going to be is a constant, because every time we are going to accept this kind of mindset. And today, though there is an inconsistency, there is a political one, the inconsistency could be seen in a different way, and regulators may be seen the different part in the different. Welcome to Dr. Narang, sir. So friends, listed companies, public companies with a paid-up capital of rupees 50 crores or turnover 250 or more crores, required to report annually, called secretarial audit report, to be in the form of MR3. The MR3 is your documents could be seen in the in a different way. And if you look at this MR3, we'll get back to it a little later. That is a different. It's everything. So lot of responsibility. Please read every word carefully of MR3 form that has been now put into there in the chapter 13. Chapter 13 for this purpose is the important dockets. Of course, I mentioned flag. I don't want to put lot many time on discussing the political part of the Companies Act, because political part to be dealt with internal the councils and the MCA and other parts. So we will discuss again as we go along. But definitely one thing is there. It is a test. The legislature has reposed faith on the profession of company secretaries by incorporating 204 for a bigger companies. The word is 204 is for bigger companies. And that's the understanding. Of course, we have a different take. What is the meaning of bigger companies or what is the meaning of a smaller company? We know that small company is defined. 50 lakhs could be increased to 5 crores, 50 crores, 50 lakhs the capital, and then up to 2 crore rupees, or 5 crore rupees, sorry. That is small company definition, we all know. But so according to us, as a law officer, or you can say the dealing with the law, so anything which is not a small company is a big company. So this is the political part. Maybe we will continue to harp on these political aspects. A day will come definitely, but definitely couple with your action as a secretarial auditor, your action as an internal company secretary to help the secretarial auditor to come out with dig out all the information and work together in tandem with, not in isolate with your colleague, your friend who is there insider. Because it is he who has been going to provide you a kind of detailed, opening up, because it is good for him also. So therefore, that area to be seen in that directions, that today the definition is now very much there for a smaller company. And I'm sure as we go along, as we prove our worth to be as a secretarial auditor, recognized as a secretarial auditor, this is a test. The government has now accepted your version after watching you 3 years, 2009, 2010, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, and then 12, 11, 12, they finally agreed to bring this to the level. So 2 years to 3 years, they have seen you as a voluntary secretarial auditor, as a competent professionals, as I mentioned to you, and the quote unquote in the 209 voluntary guidelines, where the word company secretarial audit was inserted in that, and it was a assurance. That was an assurance from the MCA that to allow you. But now slowly, the finally you have put to rest that there is the competent professional is only the company secretaries as far as SA is concerned, secretarial audit is concerned. So don't worry about this part. You start working on this, because we have roughly around all listed companies and the public companies that they are now looking for a secretarial audit to be seen, and it's a document is a very large document expected out of the company secretary to look, and I will go along with this portion of. Now, yes. Answer is very yes, because many corporates have started now approaching, not only for the listed company, they have started looking the subsidiary or associate company also to be seen by the same chap who can provide. Though it is not legally required, but people have started, as I mentioned to you, is voluntarily people have started opting the secretarial audit concept because it is a very big boost for the corporate's internal management to say so that look, we have complied with the requirement of law, disclosure part, and also and so forth are requirement. I'll mention you in the beginning of my discussions. I think, okay. Okay. So, can we have a question answer only? Yes. MA3. Coverage of secretarial audit, we all know. That is a document I mentioned to you. That document is very much there. The one document called board process. I don't know how many of you have been now, but I will discuss all those parts. So this question is, thus you got this answer. Or maybe I'll just see, but I've been told, let us now have at least, half an hour to 45 minutes discussions on the questions. So it will be later part. So let me complete my part, right? And then we go back to system. Yes. Now, if you look at this, MR3, as I mentioned to you, there is only one docket called MR3 form that required to be seen, but it's not to be seen only in the purpose of only compilations of document and fill in the blanks that formats are there. Therefore, what you have to do in this concept, the scope is very well defined, quote unquote, in the MR3. And the scope, I'll just go back to one slide. Yes. This is the scope of secretarial audit. That is the main docket called MR3, which is now listed in as a statutory form to be filled in. And it's a wider in a scope than compliance certificate of 383, which we have seen, because it takes care of corporate laws, including Foreign Exchange Management Act, and only, I'll get back a little later, security laws that includes your depository, SCRA, and SEBI Act. 3 acts. In security laws comprising of 3 acts, SCRA, depositories, and SEBI Act. Not entire, but we'll discuss as we go along little later. Secretarial standards, as formulated by ICSI and notified by government. Today we have around almost going to be the dozen of secretarial standards, but the word that have been now there in the rules, I'll little later I'll come back to the rules. It's a secretarial standard as formulated by ICSI. So today we have around 10 or 11 secretarial standards. But now law talks about mandatory for compliance secretarial audit on, secretarial standard on board meetings and secretarial standard on general body meetings. According to us, you require as a secretarial auditor to start working on a voluntary basis, giving directions on all the secretarial standard formulated and ordered by the council, which is in domain today. Because the wording of the rule is as such. In the form itself, we'll discuss. I'll a little later. So secretarial standard. So your 383 compliance has gone beyond. Listing agreements going to be in the regulation format. But today, listing agreement is very much there. So all the clauses of listing agreements, relevant one concerning your compliance part to be seen, and other laws applicable. This is very important. So this is the scope in one slide. I'll go back and detail part of the presentation. Company which is subjected to secretarial audit. All other laws applicable to a company which is subjected to secretarial audit. It's a very open area. You have to emphasize, you have to list down. Perhaps it require a day or two with the secretarial, with the couple of people, internal people, to sit together to decide all those laws applicable to you. And then to decide when you are going to start the audit, how you are going to prepare yourself, because you have to have a dialogue, discussions, pre-audit discussions, I must say it. The pre-audit or discussion could be to list down all those laws in addition to the express law that are there in the statute or rules or the forms. But beyond that, what all those laws, which is the one line that has been now mentioned in the docket, to say that any other laws applicable to a company which is subjected to secretarial audit. This requires discussions internally with the officials. Of course, your first friend would be your company secretary, internal company secretary. Through his office, you have to start having dialogue, maybe DF, Director of Finance, or CFO, whatever name nomenclature. You have one meeting with them. A day-long meeting could be to note down all those way forward to deal with the secretarial audit concept. Now, before that, let me, move to, if you look at this, the law is now, as I mentioned to you, the form is very clear. And if you look at this form, it talks of the Companies Act and the rules framed thereunder. You have to cover in your audit the Companies Act, entire law applicable to company during the year under consideration. How to do it? The first docket would be for you to list down in your table, first of all, every issues you have to have a checklist. The checklist is a detailed checklist. Particularly, you start with, there's a good thing that the New Companies Act has given in chapter format. So up to 13 chapter, because 14 is investigation, definitely, you need to know what is happening, because that you have to report. Up to 13 chapter, you have a very clear line of your checklist, very clear, detailed, minute, and to see this checklist match with the documents called minutes book. Minutes book. And minutes of both committee, board, as well as that of, many times it happened in the board meeting, you will not get very detailed deliberation of the committee. Because you have to have 4 or 5 statutory committee, and many more committees are there within the organization, they do work through committee. The board always work through committee. Larger board I'm talking to, larger board always work through committee. Therefore, you have to go back and see this docket called committee board minutes of the committees. And once you see this 1 year transaction that has gone by, you start noting down the concept, the discussions, the deliberation, apart from routine transaction, leave of absence, confirmation of minutes, and so on and so forth. Then you go start the decision taken by the board or committee thereof, as well as that of the shareholders. If you have more shareholders meeting, generally 1 or 2 meetings, but generally, then you have a larger meeting of the monthly meeting or quarterly meeting of the big board. Always they meet once in a month. In that context, your checklist should be in line with, if this happened, what you are going to see this. Like example, one example, like change of name. Let's start with chapter 2 of the Companies Act. I'll go back and then deal with other subject. Chapter 2. The company, your company subject, which is subject to SA, secretarial audit, has floated under a subsidiary or participated in joint venture or incorporated Section 8 company for the purpose of CSR activities. Whether it has been properly complied with, what is the interest, whether it's a guarantee company or it's a shareholding company, whether this proper compliance has been met with or not, proper board meeting deliberations has been gone by, whether the objective has been discussed in the board meeting in which that decision to take place. So these are the, this is again you have to stretch and see this, how much you have to disclose, how much you have a disclosure at this event, whether the people have been taken on the board, whether it was unanimous resolution or it was a resolution by vote. Many times, your independent director has started raising this issue, asking the question, whether some mechanism is there. I'm having one slide on this, because the board, internal board debates and how you are incorporating those internal board into the minutes book, that to be seen. As a secretarial auditor, you have to flag the questions. So these are the 1 to 13 chapter. I'm not restricting to till 29 chapter, but by and large, your essay would be confined to 13, but then you have to see beyond major actions like merger amalgamation that has taken place, reduction of capital that has taken place or not. Then you have to answer. It could be only possible to see through the minutes of the board or committee meeting, because these all issues require to be deliberated. Then, one more area you can add on further while dealing, I'm talking only Companies Act only for the time being. Related party issues. You have to match AS 18 disclosure, your related party transactions within the part, 188 part. Whether the compliance is being met with as per the law laid down by the new law statute, read with the accounting standards and you have to match these two, whether disclosure was complete or not. Many times you find that you may not get adequate disclosure in the books called minutes book. Adequate disclosure in the books called minutes book. But you can go beyond the book papers as defined in section 2, subsection 12. What is the book or paper? It decides including books of accounts. I'm not going subsection 13 definition of, because my friend Dr. Chandrasekharan will deal with this matter. Chapter, because he has been mentioned, chapter 2 he is going to deal with, 3, 4 and 5. And a couple of other my friends going to deal with other chapters. But I'm going precisely on the essay part. The essay is now, as an auditor, you have to go a little beyond. And you have to have a capacity to learn, to know the accounting jargons, accounting standards. Whether disclosures were adequate, whether the disclosure were require shareholders prior commitment or not. If that's so, if you get the answer, yes, then in that situation you have to find whether the promoters or the party who is interested in a related party, RPTs, have participated or not. You get the answer, no, he has not participated or participated. And then you have to see whether his vote has been added or not. So these are the 4 elements on related parties. That is the practical aspects of looking at the related party, whether it's only board level exists and that go beyond the shareholders, because lot many things are happening. So these are the major area, loans or advances or guarantee or security provided in form of the guarantee given to other subsidiary or JV partner or associate companies. That is another contentious issue, not settled law. There are so many different interpretations coming in 185 and 186. Somebody taking shelter behind 185. Someone says, no, it is 186 transactions. You as a secretarial auditor has to form an opinion. What according to you should be. Therefore, you have to go deeper into the essay transactions. Each transaction to be seen. Not only one transaction, you have to list down. You may not get the adequate disclosure in the minutes book only. So what to do? You have to go back and see the related books, transactions that have been recorded. Because everything recorded, it's a double entry system. We have seen this, If some money is going out or coming in, should be recorded through books, in the books, through banks. So if the banking entries are there, you have to see. And if you are not satisfied with that particular transactions that have been recorded in the books, you go back one step further to see the voucher, related voucher and supportings thereon. Then you can go to deeper part. And it is required. It is expected from the essay, secretarial auditor. Sorry, don't mind if I'm using hence for many time essay, because in a short it's called secretarial auditor or secretarial audit in both context. All right. So you go back in this transaction to see the vouchers, because you are required to undertake this assignment as expected out of the law that has been laid down by the legislature and subordinate legislation called rules by the ministry. And then only you come to the conclusion. Then whether particular transactions that has been now related party or the loans, etc., that has been now seen through, recorded properly, or if there is any deviation, please note down your deviation. Discuss this issue with your colleague who is happened to be internal company secretary or KMP. And come out with a conclusion. You decide, you have to form an opinion based on the discussions internal. That is called audit trail or audit note. Always discuss the audit note together in all transactions. So I'm not repeating that part, that how you are going to deal with this subject. That's one of the example. Another example is meetings. Meetings of the shareholders, meeting of the board. You have to see the board process for conducting the meetings. The word called board process is mentioned in one word. But it can discuss, the word only board process could be discussed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, it would require a day, at least full day debate on the board process, only one word. Though it is mentioned in your MA3 or MR3, I'm sorry, that to discuss about the board process being followed or not. But it requires complete one day to discuss the board process. In short, I can share with you whether the board constituted properly or not, whether the proper notice is now going to the each director or member of the board or not. Adequacy of time. Agenda, detailed note of agenda. Summary, executive summary of the agenda. And the composition could be in the as envisaged by the clause 49 and the Companies Act. And internal discussions, how you are now dealing with, whether the boards of minutes of deliberations or minutes of resolution. You have two concepts, minutes of deliberations or minutes of resolution. How much mechanism you are having for noting down the dissent, noting down the, even not dissent, but in the sense of deliberations. If somebody putting forth their views, who is contrary to the view decision taken by majority, whether that view is being expressed properly, adequately or not. These are the, your transactions should be discussed, debated and concluded in the proper bid meeting or not. Where the board has to only see the loans to related party or transaction with related party, whether it has been deliberated or not internally. These are the all sum total call is a larger issue. And the board process go beyond even the law of the land. Board process not only confined to only the law which is now required to be complied with in literal meaning. It will go beyond the literal meaning of the compliance of law. The board process is the debate and which you are going to validate, which you are expected out of this secretarial audit to say that yes, board process being followed by the corporates under consideration, which audit is you are going to undertake and giving a report. So this is all about the Companies Act, only one of the fragmentation of that. I have mentioned to you beyond 383A, compliance audit or compliance certificate. The Companies Act, you have to go back and see this each transaction may or may not, but your prime documents always been the minutes book. Your prime documents could be the registers maintained. Your prime documents could be to see this, all transactions recorded in the portal. How many transactions you have to match the portal of the MCA, not your own portal. So all those things should be, looked into. It's a complete in detail audit as far as the Companies Act concerned. Now the second part is Security Contract Regulations Act required. It is a selectively. Companies Act is a larger picture because it's a large picture. It's a mother act. As far as any corporation is concerned, it's a mother act. But if you happen to be if you are auditee or auditor of the listed company, you have to also go back and see this SRA. And SRA, you have to note down the checklist. In the major five checklist, whether the company during the year under consideration to which you are supposed to do the audit has looked back, like first one is that the public shareholding part. Public shareholding. Every listed company required a public shareholding constantly. Right? These are the elements which you have to see how much. Then it could be only possible based on the deliberation, because we have, please tell the internal company secretary to maintain a kind of item in every board meeting which takes place in your organization to have the secretarial as shareholding pattern disclosed. Then you can know it's a requirement. Many corporates are doing every meetings. They have been putting their secretarial promoters holding, increase, decrease, major shareholding, somebody is acquiring during the intervening period. They are reporting to the board. It's called board process. Within the board process, because I mentioned to you, board process takes a day to discuss in detail. Now, through which you can find a detailed agenda. When as a secretarial auditor, you have to see this agenda item also, not only minutes book. The primary documents again includes agenda, which was circulated to the board. And in that agenda you can find whether SRA is now, Security Contract Regulation Act, is complied with or not, 192B particularly. Right? So these are the SRA's requirement vis-a-vis listed companies concerned. But this SA is not only restricted to listed company. It will go beyond unlisted one. So it is to that extent are not applicable to. Then you mentioned particularly, since the company is a non-listed company, the provisions of Security Contract Regulations Act to the extent are not applicable to in the transaction during your consideration. You have to give disclosure. Similarly, then you have a Depository Act. It could be applicable for both listed as well as non-listed. If they have decided and they have started now, putting this, issue through that, you can start dematting your shares. Even unlisted company, private limited company, they can go and demat the shares. How you have a contract? Now, do you have a contract with the depositories? And today, fortunately, you have only 2 depositories working, NSDL, CDCL. Many more depositories may come, but today you have 2. So it's very easy to track the transactions, the agreement which you have entered into with this. What is the obligations the depository has about loading, informing periodically? This could be applicable for both listed and unlisted. Listed generally the Friday. They are supposed to upload you, inform you the transactions that has taken place during the week under consideration. You have to stress. You have to stress and ask this, and you have to analyze. Not only you receive and then put it in the soft copy version. They do download. You download it. That is free, available too. All list. That you have to analyze whether somebody is acquiring 2% or not. Any share acquired by independent director or not. It is the only track internal company secretary. You have to be friend, philosopher and guide as a secretarial auditor. Then and then only you have a harmonious relationship working together for the betterment and for the enhancement of the quality of disclosures. Quality of disclosure to be enhanced. That is the bottom line. Theory is required many times, my friend, to understand the practical nuances. Because without theory, you can't discuss the practical aspects. So therefore, theory is very important. Somebody has mentioned this theory. Theory is very important to know the philosophy, the guiding principles which require, because practical aspect, you start doing these business transactions. But it is backed by the theory. Unless you have a sound theory, you cannot do the practical aspects of your part. The depositories, therefore, friends, again, are important document, laws to be seen by the secretarial auditor while doing the audit in terms of both listed as well as non-listed companies. First of all, you have to see whether the non-listed companies, the subject company, which is now there for you for secretarial audit, is now registered or got the shares dematted, and how much. Not necessarily all. Maybe promoters holding is dematted. Maybe non-promoter group, they may not. And if the transaction that has taken place, inter-seat transfer between the promoters, unlisted company I am referring to, there is a mandate in the Companies Act to be notified within 30 days time to the registrar of companies in the particular firm. Should be looked into. The consent 274(1)(g) earlier we used to have. Now that has been now merged with another section. Now MBP2, consent. Now hold your question out. Now all the question you hold. Now I mentioned to you, sir, that 11 to 11:30 we will discuss the all questions, right? So let me complete the part. You note down your questions. Now I am asking the mandate house whether you want to stop here, then we'll have a question. I can answer your 200 questions. Yes. Hold. I am asking organizer again, give me 1 hour, then question answer. No, stop here. All right. Yes, Mr. Hold. Take a seat. Okay. Sure. Very well. Is it? The house is in agreement? Whether the house is in agreement with? All right. So quickly, 4 or 5 slides. I don't have. I am having only 16 slides for 2 hours lecture. 16 slides, sir. And I have already completed 10. So only I have 6 slides. No, but that's required. Some other things. Because I am brought only yesterday, I took only 2 hours to 3 hours to jot down because I was not having. I told Rajiv, I am not having anything because my computer got crashed. My system has gone total haywire. So what to do with it? I will do only extempore. Because dealing with day and day with this subject, I can talk to, and I am here only to discuss more of question answer than of doing this, because this all theory part everybody can read. It is there MR. That's why I have not given, I mentioned only flag MR3. I have not discussed, but somebody wanted the practical nuances. So therefore I moved to that part. And thereafter I'll just give me some guidance that maybe 1 hour we can have a question answer. Yes? Fine, very good. So Kamal, then we'll get back and quickly we run through. The third one is the Foreign Exchange Management Act. So I discussed with 2-3 Act. Foreign Exchange Management Act. Here your role is be only restricted to 3 regulations or 3 parts. The ODI, if company has done any overseas transactions, meaning investment outside India in subsidiary or JV or associate company, etc., etc. If so, whether the compliance of ODI regulations have been met with or not. Disclosure was done, proper reporting was done, authorized dealer, etc., etc. is there. FDI, the second part of FEMA, FDI, whether the company during the year consideration has entered into any transactions where foreign investment came into being, whether it is lying as a share application money, advance against share capital, blah, blah, blah. If so, whether the compliance of FEMA has been met with or not. Read with Companies Act, which require Section 42 and Section 62. Please remember, for any transaction, if you happen to be non-listed company, 42 and 62 are seen to be. If you don't, then you will barge into the 42 part 1, that is disclosure. So that is a very risky area you have to venture into. As an auditor, you have to guide internally in C3. The third one is FEMA, is the OCB or ECB transactions. External commercial borrowing transactions, whether you have to only see through dockets. And if you come across the certain transactions have been, because this transaction could be recorded in your books not without having discussed and debated in the board or committee meetings. So your primary documents, again the minutes book, to see these documents. Having gone through these documents, I think you are adequately covered as far as FEMA is concerned. So all 3 only, and for that, friends, you read only, go back to authentic documents. There is no books available to. Always go and see, hit the site, www.rbi.org. Please remember always, every 1st July of the year, this regulation master circular got replaced by the new master circular. Every year by the Reserve Bank. Please remember, sir, because this require your ease out the business when you enter into 1st July of the year, the RBI replaced the existing. But RBI also update you at least a month. This is the requirement. Your group, your people associated with you must give you some inputs. Not, you cannot do everything yourself. Must give you input to see the monthly visit to RBI.org. To see whether any changes in 3 transactions have been taken place or not. Any AD-MS series or DIR series is there or not. These are the instruction series. The RBI comes. Every month you see this portal. At least once in a month you see the portal to update yourself. And flag those changes in your master circular, which you have uploaded or downloaded from the ORG's, RBI.org. That is authentic information, you can get it. Any book you have read may be outdated, sir. Because every moment you have RBI coming out with a different policy framework. ECB policy change like anything. So please remember, you are subjected to only under FEMA, only 3 provisions, ODI, FDI and ECB. So you are supposed to see these all transactions recorded, if any, as per the Foreign Exchange Management Act and rules and regulations they are under. Thank you. Next one is the following regulations which regard to SEBI Act. And you know this Security Substantial Acquisition and Share Takeover Code 2011, insider trading, and the third one is ICDR. But if you happen to be the public issue, or if you have done FPO, follow-up issue, or you intend to get public issue in a year's time, then you have to follow ICDR regulations. Where are the under consideration? When you are doing audit for the year 2014-15 or 13-14, where are the previous year, some transaction have been there or not? Some intention, some deliberations are there in the board meeting or the committee meeting or the shareholders meeting to that effect that you intend to go for public issue. Whether compliance of these regulations, all these regulations are there. Always again, sebi.gov.in. always go back and hit the site. And site is very well updated. Whatever happened yesterday being updated today. Instantly being updated in 2 hours time. SEBI always go original dockets call that documents. And then you deliberate. If you have inconsistency, please discuss internally within your group, within your office or external friends circle and deliberation. Then I don't think, then come to the last point. Of course, these are all listing date requirement and all these regulations is small regulations. But always do not, you fix those download regulations when you are going to do audit. Checklist is required in every regulations. 5 or 7 bullet points in every regulation under SEBI if you are going to do audit for a listed company. Only major area you see this, whether this has been, and once you start, the subordinate part will definitely come, but it won't hit these questions. So you could deliberate because checklist is very important. I am giving emphasize when you are doing, preparing yourself to be a secretarial auditor or conducting the secretarial audit. Your time to be devoted a day or two on preparing a checklist, updating the checklist, whether checklist you have prepared for a month, April month, when you are going in the month of June, conducting audit for some other entities, please do not follow the checklist which you have prepared for audit in the month of April for some other client. Because this checklist may be outdated, sir. You have to update your checklist. Keep your checklist always before you as a secretarial auditor. When you are giving your training or when you are sending your associate for the audit, conducting the audit, you must train them. That's a very important part. There's also theory is required. The last point which is hurting and expecting people, I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, very initial is a small remark that I've given to about, but before that, I would like also to spend some time about the other laws as may be applicable specifically to the company. That is the area which is a gray area, because above that, you have already been listed every aspect. What all do you have to see? In FEMA, you have to see only 3 aspects, not all FEMA. Your current account transaction is not required under this part. Your depository, you have to see particular transaction, whether it's falling under depository laws been followed or not. In case of ACRA, you have a limited scene this. But here is the gray area. Other laws applicable to the company specifically. And that is the mandate. And the mandate is, and therefore I mention, I recollect again, when I start my beginning, in the very first line, I mentioned that is the area which require sitting together when you are going to prepare yourself to be a secretarial auditor, conducting audit of a corporates, sit with your internal friend who is a company secretary, who in turn will advise you a larger meeting. First your meeting with the company secretary to understand, because he is also a compliance officer internally. He is also a person called key managerial personnel. He is also subjected to provide information to the board on quarterly basis or periodically as board has decided about the compliance of all laws applicable to the company. Through board process, you come to know through agenda whether the company has been complying with and what all those acts which companies are subjected to compliance of the statute and the periodically run. Because that is the document, agenda and the minutes and discussions followed by discussion with the internal company secretary will come to the conclusion as a secretary, my dear friends, that you come to the conclusion that this particular company, client company, require this much major laws applicable to that. So that is the debate. And after having discussion with the internal company secretary who is a key managerial personnel, to take him further a larger meeting with the relevant HOD, like Factories Act, labor laws. Within the, the HR person, this has 2 wings within the organization, and I'm expecting it 50 crore rupees worth company having a full-fledged human resource department or labor or the to that extent a department separately. And they have 2 one is that compliance wing, another is development wing, like training, etc. of the organization employees. You discuss with the compliance part, how many registers they have been maintained. So these are the audit trail. You have to prepare a checklist sitting with the people. Let me repeat again, for this portion of law as applicable, other laws applicable to the company, very simple process according to me. Maybe somebody is wrong, somebody give us some different connotation. What I learned as a secretarial auditor or as a professional colleague that I can share with you, and this sharing would be, you can discuss through board process. The board process is agenda, the board process deliberations, the details dockets, because a company secretary under statute, one of the function 205 of a company secretary, please remember the company secretary of the company, to one of the function is to periodically provide the board the reporting aspect about the compliance of Companies Act and other laws applicable to the company. And he cannot give oral submission to the board. Please remember, he will not submit his oral submission in the board meeting about compliance in one line. He will give his submission through documents which he has collected from various HODs, various functional heads, through various functional heads and the relevant person who is in charge of the affairs of particular transactions. Therefore, our duty would be to discuss this board process, agenda, the minutes and meeting with the KMP and through KMP to other relevant persons to understand. And then you start with jotting down all the compliance portion. And then it will be very easy for you, sir, to see one day other laws applicable to company and compliance thereof. Because every moment, monthly, they are supposed to internal there, to which I have been dealing with a couple of companies. They have the monthly requirement to give this reporting internal. Internal monthly report flows. And this monthly report is in writing, signed by the relevant officers. This could be culminated into the quarterly report being generated to be submitted to the board level. We have been receiving, my association with a couple of boards, we have been receiving this kind of system. So this aspect could be seen as important. So it is a very vague one, but could be very easily been seen through internally. If you look at this as a secretarial auditor, prepare yourself as a secretarial auditor. So that's my take, my understanding of other laws applicable to the company, and you have to comment on compliance or non-compliance or adequate compliance or notional compliance, etc., in your report. Last but not the least on this issue is the secretarial standards. Friends, if you read this MR3 form, MR3 forms, I'm going little beyond my the mandate or on my understanding. My understanding always been there to have only 2 secretarial standards being adopted by the corporates, ministry for mandatory standards. Board meeting, a standard on the general body meeting. But if you look at this, we have also examined compliance with the applicable clauses of the following. A, secretarial standards issued by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I'm putting a pause. Issued by, it not talks about and notified by the Ministry of Corporate. For the time being, I'm letting you. This means your institute has now come out with more than around dozen secretarial standards. 10, 11 secretarial standards. So kindly go through those secretarial standards. They are in the process of rewriting, revisiting because of changes that has gone by in the statute which require further, and they have come out with, the council has come out with the various suggestions in the public domain. They are meeting in the June in the council to adopt and send it to the government for consideration. I remember when this discussion took place, they wanted to have entire secretarial standards formulated by ICSI to be on the updated one version. So that issue is a constant issue. That is a duty of the council and the management and secretarial standard board. They have been doing, and they have been doing discharging the responsibility. My take limited to the extent of MR3 one. Kindly remember, examine compliance with applicable clauses of the following secretarial standards issued by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. It is a document of the ministry, not my document and your document. In my view, you should give a good comment and spend whether the secretarial standard on the dividend, secretarial standard on the books, maintenance of books of accounts, secretarial standard on minutes, and so on and so forth. With all standards are there. our secretarial standard for other part have been complied with relevant clauses to the extent applicable to this company during the year under consideration, have been complied with or not. And in the process, you are doing a good job. In the process, you are giving your human service to your alma mater, called Institute of Company Secretaries, by giving your adequacy of report, by extending your report, by commenting it upon, and then in the process perhaps, then you are going to give one line to the organization. That is called addition and value addition to the reporting, quality reporting. Your report should not, on the literal sense, what is refined and required. It will go a little beyond the literal meaning of the report, and then go some value addition to the organization to which you are associated as a secretarial auditor. My take again, it's again my view, personal view, but definitely I go what is mentioned here because it is not restricted to as formulated by ICSI and notified by the MCA. So to that extent, all secretarial standard you may comment. You must go through therefore at the earliest the secretarial standard. They have a compendium of secretarial standard in the institute book. Or it is there in the public domain, you can get it and download it. If it is not there in the website, you can ask, then you can get it also. Or it's a book is there, compendium, I remember it's one book is there on the secretarial standard. Go through that, give some value addition, give some suggestion to the team, your internal company secretaries, as well as the CFO and other key managerial personnel. Listing agreement, enter into by the company with the stock exchanges, if applicable. Wherever listed company shares are being listed, you have to see this all relevant clauses 24, 32, 35, 37, 40. I mean, all larger issues you have to see whether the company has been complying with all the particularly 7 or 8 clauses, relevant one. Of course, these all clauses are relevant. Let me very honestly share with you. It's a continuous listing, is a commitment by the issuer company or the company which is listed in the bourses that to maintain the adequacy of the or give the complete part. Like example, something has happened. Some raid has undertaken by some service department, service tax department, or some excise department. You are supposed to notify immediately to the stock exchange. This will not be there, my dear, in the minutes book, because no board would discuss my premises have been raided, and I got seizure list of 10 pages that have been taken, including the hard disk, hard copy and soft copy of the systems. They are analyzing that one. You have not issued a demand notice. You have not issued a show cause notice till date. So you are not getting this document, but how to know this information? The moment you start having a dialogue with your company secretary, it is he who has been telling you, internal secretary, sir, these are the major things that has happened. Because he is also in the range. I am telling you, this is my practical experience. I am sharing with you the practical key thoughts with you people today, beyond the law. What is there here? Because many things happening, not being reported to, nor they are giving a public notice, nor communicating to a stock exchange. But it has a ramification, an implication. And you are subjected to under listing agreement to notify anything which is happening in your corporate, which empower, which affect your share price sensitivity. This required. So these are some aspects, soft aspects of the heart of secretarial audit. This I just thought I should share with you. So this is all you have to give comments on while you are required to do so. And with this all, as far as my part is concerned, I am now through with the detailing of how you are going to discuss and debate internally. Definitely I would like more of dealing with the question answer and practical aspect. Somebody has started doing, somebody has gone through the secretarial audit concept. Many of my friends are sitting here in the front and back. They have already seen through. But definitely we have been sharing our own thoughts. And with this all, I just convey my sincere thanks. I am having few compliance. I think this is all theoretical part. I leave it to here because that's very important aspect to be seen. Whether I take over this portion. Yeah, that is a board process. I would like a couple of minutes to spend board process and compliance mechanism because you have to comment on this. Whether the company and yes. So let's now close. Let me also give my thanks to the organizer called NIRC, and thanks to you and all that you are sitting here in the morning on the 9:30. We have started now, and for giving me opportunity and inviting over to discuss. And I'll close this issue by saying that board process is the important dockets to be seen, and you have to see the compliance mechanism, because formal annual evaluation, that is a very gray areas there. Lot many work you have to see beyond secretarial auditor. You have to be as an advisor internal, not as a secretarial auditor. In addition to secretarial audit, you have to see this annual evaluation, board performance, individual evaluation, your ERM, enterprise risk management. That is another area where, because 134 required you to. You have to give advice to the internal. Why is going to keep you as a secretarial auditor? You have to give some value addition. Could be only possible, my dear friend, when you go beyond this company law and beyond the nuances of the MR3 only, the format which I mentioned to you, roles of appointment of independent directors, concept, etc. That is all called succession planning, lead independent director provision, because it is required. You have to give comments because it's required in the first statute, board charter, board training and development programs. I have given one board process. I have given one document that has been published in the magazine. It was January magazine of Quality Times, and been circulated widely, and a lot of questions coming from internal and external people. Let me close, say thank you very much once again for giving me opportunity and inviting me in the morning to discuss with the very fresh topic and very dear topic for Nazar Ahmed particularly, and for all of us sitting here, and those who are not sitting here, those who are watching us through our webcast, that secretarial audit is the reality now today, and we are going to take from both hands this concept of secretarial audit, and going to do real justice to the corporates and the regulators and the society at large with this secretarial audit report. Thank you so very much once again, my dear friend.
Yeah, there is one question.
Yes, I'll ask.
When you are talking of other laws other than the Companies Act, so it is essential to know.
Yes, sir.
How many acts have been enacted and how many acts are prevalent in the country. It's a very big issue. I have asked to so many advocates of Supreme Court, High Court.
I don't know, sir. I am also not aware.
But I have searched it out.
All right.
No, I have searched it out on the Google.
I have
searched it out on the Google.
Hold.
At one place it
Mr.
was
Singhal
mentioned.
is a very senior professional colleague. Yes, please.
I have searched it out on Google. I have asked so many advocates. I am also from the same field. I am also LLB from Delhi University. So Supreme Court advocates, High Court advocates. Mr. Nishar Ahmed is also my friend.
Hold.
No, listen.
I
have gone through that publication also. I have gone through, searched out in Google also. At one place it was mentioned in India there are about 6,437 acts. 6,437
I think Kamal
in another place it was mentioned 4,356 acts, but they excluded that every state has got their separate acts. And one article was published in the last Chartered Secretary where they mentioned that 90 areas which are for the companies.
As I mentioned to you, sir, Singhal Sahab, very good. I think Singhal Sahab is having repository of knowledge. Anytime you can have a discussion, deliberations with Singhal Sahab, is very senior colleagues of our professional colleagues, very senior. And he has been there for more than 35 years into this area. I think this requires a kind of deliberation. But what is required, sir, today, let me emphasize, repeat it. When you are doing as a secretarial audit, you need not go and then read and remember all 6,000 or 8,000 or 500 or 600 provisions of law applicable to various companies. The target company to which you are going to be the secretarial auditor required to be sit together. As mentioned to you, sir, 205, one of the requirement that has been cast upon prior to you come as annually. So annually, before annual your event, entering into the premises of some corporate for doing secretarial audit, your friend, your brother, your senior or junior who is there internal, he is under an obligation to provide to the board the compliance of various statutes. He is doing so, sir. He is doing so through, he knows whom to extract, what all those laws applicable to particular company. And that's the only way to do secretarial audit. Instead of remembering all sir law, I'm each कर रहा हूँ sir, उसको simple कर रहा हूँ. Yes, Kamal.
Friends, Kamal, and everybody, please, we have 30 minutes. So let us keep,
I remember
be
11 o'clock
specific
I have
on
to
the
close.
question and let the, expert answer.
Am I-
that.
Sir, first of all, I would like to thank the organizer for organizing such a beautiful seminar. Organizers I would like to remind you, we all are here just coming, we are just spending 1.5 hours to 1 hour to just reach here. And if you will give the 15 minutes or 20 minute time, I think this will be the total injustice to the audience.
चलो ना
Second point. भैया आ रहा हूँ, आराम से.
सवाल कुछ
सर अरे सर आप भैया 15 मिनट you have taken 15 minutes to take the diplomatic and political statements, whereas and almost around 59 minutes for getting all these non-compliance compliance issue which we have already working in the last 13 years.
anyway.
Just a minute. Sir, my
You have a
question.
Yes.
एक minute.
Question.
Sir, my
I'll be
question.
happy to answer the
If
question.
we are working in a retail industry or chemical industries, or there are so many licensing and registration is required. If we have to comment on the other specific law applicable to the company, in that case, suppose if a company is having the pan-India stores, whether that state laws is applicable or not, whether that state laws is being complied with or not, how we will ascertain that, and how we will ensure the compliances, that we would like to, just a minute sir, please, let me complete sir. Let me complete, I think we would request. So I think I would request all the dignitaries to just put highlight on that point, how we will ensure that. Because now this secretarial audit is going to be the statutory report. So how we will cover those things.
Right.
Second, in case of other laws applicable, there are so many state laws which are not available on the public domain. Even bookseller is not having. I can give you the number of example.
Okay.
So how we will reach to that? Please put light on that.
All right.
Next point.
All right.
Sir,
Yeah.
next question. Since 2009, secretarial audit is voluntary audit. Have ICSI made any kind of preparation? How many secretarial audit has already been conducted, so that will help us to understand how we will proceed in this kind of statutory audit.
ठीक.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. पहला जवाब दो, सेकंड तो पॉलिटिकल है, वो मैं जवाब दे दूंगा.
Friends, the request is,
हाँ जी.
let us discuss very practically what everyone has to do it regularly. Request is again, all applicable laws. Please, the applicable laws, etc., may have to be deleted in due course of time. Don't waste time on it, number one. Number two, even the company secretary in the employment is not aware what is the provision applicable to the company. Let us go in practical what is happening for a secretarial audit. Talk each and every situation. If this is a position, how I have to deal with the things. But keep it in mind, the secretarial audit, what you are doing, you are not doing any finding faults on the records, registers of the company. You are supposed to give a helping hand to the employed company secretaries. Thereby both can sail together. You will have a lot of interpretations. Please applicable each and every interpretation you have to give due weightage. Please talk practical issues. For example, appointment of directors. You are not confined only with the Companies Act. If it is an NBFC company, you must know what is the provision of RBI. If it is an insurance company, you must know what is IRDA provisions. If it is stock broking company, you must know what is the provision of stock exchanges. So please talk on practical issues. If this is the event, what I will do. Please discuss on the issue so that we can have a very fruitful discussion on that. Please do not waste time on hypothetical questions or which is only one in issue which may be seeing the amendment or whatever it is. Be practical, touch the point and get the clarifications. Thank you.
Okay. As far as the second part is concerned, yes, not many questions are now. Can you please help my colleagues to, to get into that? The second question, Kamal, is, of course, Dr. Chandrasen. Thank you, Dr. Sir, for your insight. Of course, as the law stands today, we have been dealing with and we have to deal with. As and when things have happened, good. But till as applicable to other companies should be also commented upon. Tomorrow we are already. Second question, Kamal, 2009 onward. Answer is yes, Institute has compiled the voluntary secretarial audit conducted by our brothers, company secretaries, fellow company secretaries in the institute, coming out with the documents, with a checklist, a detail, keeping in view the new provisions of law very soon, in a month or so. Hopefully it will be done. Work is almost through, but committee has already gone through. There is a process in the institution. So I think 2009 onward, there are dozen of good secretarial audit report compiled, being now evaluated and being now taken into consideration in the Companies Act 2013 and the rules framed thereunder. That's there. Institute is aware of. Yes, Pranal sir.
Yeah, there is a lot of discussion on so many applicable laws, 6,000 or 4,000 or 8,000. I have very simple solution to that. One is it that as a cost accountant, I can suggest one should go by ABC analysis. My friend Chandrasekhar has already said that go by what laws are most applicable to you. Say, for example, he has also given an example. If it is a banking company, go for banking laws more than anybody else. Even sometimes more than company law, even you may have to focus on the banking law. Insurance, telecom, mining. So those laws would be applicable. Second solution is, still there could be some very important laws which have a function, which has an impact on the focus of the company. So go by laying down of a systems and procedures. For example, there is a clinical trial law. If it is a pharmaceutical company, there is a very complicated law where clinical compliances have to be done. Go by lay down a system in such a way that head of the R&D department should report to you, should give you that all the laws relating to clinical trial or examination of the pharmaceutical company or mining, safety in the mining or any such thing, in chemical industry, some safety norms are to be laid. Take a certificate from the heads of those respective departments who are responsible for implementing of those laws. In that case, all your fear about how do I remember 6,000 laws or 8,000 laws, but you should remember how to lay down the systems and procedure and take a certificate from the respective head of the department. Then your job will be very simple. Take those certificates on a monthly or a period, say quarterly basis, and report them to the board on the quarterly basis. Despite you are doing that, if something goes wrong, you will be very well protected that you have taken reasonable steps in complying with those laws. And if something has gone wrong down the line, that particular head of the particular department who has given you the certificate, he will be hauled up, he will be responsible, not you will be responsible. Thank you very much. This very small contribution I want to make.
Yes, Suman, and then you are down.
Okay.
Put it. Yes, sir.
Please be brief.
Which is to be immediately executed in the organization,
Ji.
though there are a lot of acts. And we have placed before the board and we are under discussion to just delegate these power under different enactments to the particular person who will be responsible for that. We will also take the required certificate from all the persons who are responsible under particular enactments and we will give them proper training for that. My question to you is, sir, beside the routine policies which control the business of organization under the Companies Act 2013, what are the policies which has to be placed before the board? What are the policies which should be on the website? And what are the various policies that should be in an organization to run the business under the Companies Act 2013 beside the routine policies which is required, which were earlier there? Thank you.
Last two slides you can see, Suman, it will be circulated to all of you, that require a philosophy of the company, like succession planning, board evaluation process, and so what mechanism. That could be put it on the website. That could very well, that your mechanism, evaluation process, your enterprise risk management process, ERM, is the policy document. Could be put it in the website to everyone and everyone to see this. I have given two slides on this, on the board process and compliance, major compliance. Could be there. Good insight of the KMP, one of the KMP. I started using every company secretary KMP. Please be happy and because you see, just hold, not political question. One of the company secretary of the company has come out with the idea of assessing how many laws applicable to his organization. And thereafter he has started now giving 4 or 5 laws to particular person for compliance. He has also discussed this thing in the board meeting and earmark a charge with responsibility of those sections in case of, and then you have to take the consent of that particular person, file it with the registrar of companies. For the purpose of compliance of these laws, you are the person, officer who is in default. Okay? And then, after board, then you have to start putting in the responsibility. That's the best way. I am helping the inside company secretary, those who are internal company secretary. A very good thought my friend has now given to you for all the purpose.
Yes.
Sir, एक question पीछे है.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. It is happening. That's good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have a question.
Good morning. My name is Sanjay, and I'm
Good
a
morning.
chartered accountant and a company secretary both. So audit has been my forte, and it's my blood. And it's a fortunate we have in last 5 years we have got a opportunity as a company secretary to go into the audit side, which has been a strength of a chartered accountants earlier used to be. I think this is an opportunity we must, as a brothers, we must grab it and encash it. One thing which I find out that I've been dealing with the last 4 or 5 years with the different company secretaries and all the things. Maybe I don't blame any one of you, because as an institute, we never groomed auditors as a company secretary auditors. We have been taught law, deal law, more like the lawyers. I'm also a lawyer. So more deal like the lawyers and all those things, but never been given a strength of audit. This is new opportunity for us. It's a new era for us kind of things. My question is this audit is equivalent to a internal audit or a statutory audit? For a CA, they have 2 audits, statutory audits, internal audit, and they are quite smart. They moved into a taxation audit, which is called tax audits. We have not gone into that kind of directions. We have still been excused and in a one cubicle, law, and compliance. Now it's a time we move out of the compliance, go into the audits. But the challenge before is, what is the compliance? What is the audit? If I am a member of the board and someone comes back to me and say, this is audit, sir, PF has been done, ES has been compliant, factory act has been, okay, that's good. Then what? Do we have a CARO like a segment reporting where we have a 20 points on which we have to reply? Look at a CARO. It covers everything from company law, taxation, factories, everything. We don't have that kind of a formats for secretarial audits. We need those kind of things to make ourselves very empowered. I think this is the time to go and talk to MCA very diligently and clearly. Sir, if you believe in the spirit, otherwise there's no point in talking about these secretarial audits or finding out some kind of things. Let's go and talk to them very clearly about it. Sir, if you make the governance, and you really mean by the governance, this is the way we have to work with the CA and CS. CA is in the particular field of a taxation and all those things. We are good in the law and all those things. This compliance should be a part of this overall audit. Why? It's 5 crores or 50 crores or 250 crores have been given to us. In private company, the audit has to be done even if it is a 1 lakh rupees of a turnover also. It's mandatory.
Sir, I think question, yeah, I think is a very
That's
good.
where we have to, that's where I'm coming up.
I think I am complimenting you for your thoughts. Big compliments to you, my friend. Because I came in the morning, I came here, I thought I should give my thoughts. I think you have taken my words, and thanks very well.
I'm just funny because
I have now, I have given, that's why I compliment you.
And my
I
thing
wanted
is-
to go beyond, because we have to nurture our habits of doing as an auditor.
Ahmed
So far, yes.
Saab, I'm taking out, this is audit, this is an opportunity. The boards are looking at us because now it is a compliance. We have to do it. Let's do it in a very structured manner. I think that's the institute also
Wonderful.
responsibility to come out and train us, put up a lot of workshops to all of our brothers to do all these kind of things. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Just a minute. No, there is. It was a suggestion. It is not a question, it was a suggestion. I wanted to also give that we have complimented him for his. I'll come back. Yes. Yes. Secretarial? Yes. It is because the appointing authority is, no, listen, it's a legal process. The appointment of secretarial auditor is coming from the board. The report would be addressed to the board.
Okay.
The board,
To the members.
addressed to the member, but it will go to the board because board has to comment on the any explanation, reservation, compliance.
Not the approval, I think that is.
No, not placed before the board. What is approved mean?
It is written.
This is only in the sense once anything goes to the board, either you accept or something you say anything, something there, that will be taken note of. But it has to be routed through the board, your document. Like auditor report, even the auditor report, you have to place before generally, generally for noting it.
That's okay.
That's
Second is it statutory for the current financial year or for the previous year?
Yeah, not many corporates have started now, though it is there in 2009. No, I don't want to go into, that is a different issue.
Sir.
But I'll answer separately.
Good morning to my friends.
Yes.
Sir, there's no suggestion, there's a specific question.
Question. Yes,
on the
question.
sectoral audit.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I read the definition of the public limited company under section 271,
Yes, sir.
which covers also the subsidiary of the public company, like means the private limited company. So let me explain please. Is the sectoral audit is mandatory applicable on those private limited company which are subsidiary to the public limited company in which the sectoral audit is applicable in mandatory?
Answer is YES. Yes. Subsidiary of a public
it
company
mandatory?
is a public company. On this
Okay.
note, subsidiary of a public company is a public company.
Okay.
Even if they retain,
Irrespective
even if-
of all other.
even if they retain their, internal, the requirement, restrictions of transferability, etc., that they are an internal auditor.
And the second question is related to related party transactions.
Yes.
That's the arm length dealings.
साहब एक सेकंड इनका इसका सवाल कर लेते
Sir, there are the related parties in my group
जी
in which we dealt in the same manner in which we dealt with the other non-related parties.
सर
So how can we do the compliance for these related party transactions because the dealings are in arm length basis? So how can we record and how can we?
get the board to form an opinion. Neither you nor me can give anything. Let the board form an opinion whether transaction, related party transaction, we have a detailed discussion going to be. Hold your question. But my answer quickly to be, let the board form an opinion whether it's an arm's length transaction or we have, anyway you have to bring to the notice of the board all the transaction where related party is concerned. If it is a not arm's length, if the formation of the opinion is not arm's length, and you are not in a position to justify, the meaning of arm's length is very widely been debated by the court of competent jurisdiction here. What is the arm's length transaction? How you are going to prove? If you have any doubt, bring to the notice of the shareholders prior consent. We'll discuss outside because
Sir, I have
you
a
listen to
question,
related party, Janta.
Just
Yeah.
one
I have a
question.
Yeah.
Kindly guide me.
Janta, have a question.
One question, very
Kindly
practical.
guide me. Am I supposed to do what is given in the MR3 to report, or I should go in detail? Please guide me. Number
I
one.
think MRP.
No, listen.
one
Here's the
line.
question. Listening agreement compliance, you said. Suppose I see class 41.
Sir.
Please guide me how to check whether I'm supposed to check promoter's quota is right or wrong. Please guide me, number one. Number two, in the case of charges, some vehicles, I will hypothecate to the bank without crediting any charges.
Sir.
Is it a violation or not?
Now, as far as new law is concerned, the second question, all the charges are subjected to.
No, how to check it, sir, please?
No, all right. Now I'm coming, sir. But checker part is the possibility is there. The possibility is you draw down all the documents. There is no minutes because there is no discussion in a minutes book. But you have a right to go through the list of charges that the vehicles that have been procured during the year under consideration. You ask one list. At least based on the document, if you are and the company secretary and the officers of the company are under obligation to provide you all information called by the secretarial auditor. If they do not do so, you write it that I have asked this question, not being provided, as simple as that.
My submission is, you can check it by way of reading the balance sheet. If it's shown as secured loans,
Yes.
then take a list. Instead of asking, give a list.
No,
This is
even
why
if
we should-
not, as a prudent secretarial auditor, my endeavor would be to ask a list of the vehicle or the other assets being subjected to loan by the corporate. You have a list, you ask it, then you match with your documents or the balance sheet, whether it is matching or not. If it is, there are ways to understand, sir. But if you do not ask this question, not to form an opinion, because now it is there. Sometimes the companies fail to, get the charge listed or registered. But now the law is very clear. All the charges subject to debt loan are to be registered under chapter 6. Under chapter 6, everything is going to be. Now, regarding this, John sir, one question.
One question.
Yeah.
Recently, there is a practice in the foreign companies. They have started designating their executives as director. As a result, in those companies, we have got two set of directors. One is the directors who are the members of the board.
Yes, sir.
And other are the directors who are not the members of the board. They are simply the head of the departments.
Sir.
That is only a designation.
Yes.
So when we go to such companies to conduct the secretary audit, whether designating their executives who are not members of the board as a director maybe say this is a violation of some particular section or?
No, there is no violation of particular section, but there is an express circular of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs in the reiterated by Ministry once again in 1980. It was old circular addressed to Chamber of Commerce, addressed again by the MCA in 80, addressed third time by the MCA in 90, stating therein, please desist from designating your official as executive director or whatever name called, who is not a member of the board, because it's a misleading designation. However, Now therefore, now today I'm talking about but Mr. Jain is now referring to the designation earlier that given by some company executive director who is not a member of the board. Whether as a secretarial auditor, he should comment on violation of law. Answer is if you are doing 13-14 audit, Chansa, if you are doing secretarial audit for 13-14, you give a kind of a note, explanation in the comments that it is as per the mandate of the MCA notification or circulation, the company should have not designated XYZ as or in general, his employee as an executive director who is not a member of the board. The provisions of law today that has been now adopted, effective from 1st of April 2014, is very clear now. Any person who is appointed by the board is called director by whatever name called position. Now situation is that you have to give comments, and it's a duty of the board of directors under 134 in the annual report to justify your comments or observation. It's not only reservation, only not your qualification. It talks about 4 words: qualification, adverse remarks, observation, and clarification, and disclaimer. So anything you write in your report which is not in consonance with the express provisions of law, whether it is complied with or not complied with, the board duty under 134 is to report to the shareholders and public at large in its report how much you are not agreeing to and why. Then you have to give justification. I think that is a duty of the secretarial auditor to pinpoint in the report about this non-compliance. Yes? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, its law is there. Within 6 months, the position is there. I think someone had pointed it out from my new young colleague. Yes, just hold on. Okay. Just answer. So, yeah. Yes. So that
next.
Answer.
Sir,
Monica.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So whether a person who is doing the work of a company can be appointed as a secretarial audit, like the annual retainership if I am having of a company.
Today's position is YES.
Yes. Because we are at footing with the statutory auditor. Right.
Only with regard to powers and duties. 143, please remember. 143 section. Remember, only with regard to powers and duties of the statutory auditor, it would be applicable mutatis mutandis to the cost auditor and the secretarial auditor in discharging his responsibility. Alright? I think one should not be confused on this about the non-auditing area to be taken care of. So today, Monica, you can pursue, even if you are a retainer, you can do the secretarial audit. Answer is yes.
Sir, my question is regarding to the foreign company provision, but in general, we need to know something about it. My question is regarding that section 384, regarding the filing of the annual return of the foreign company who has the license office in India. As per Rule 7, Chapter 22, it says that within 60 days, we need to file a return for the foreign company who has a place of business in India. And that is the FC4 form. It has lot of disclosures wherein they are asking the shareholding details, asking about the directors' details of the foreign company directors.
Yes.
So practically I can say that, is it possible, because the management is really not interested in giving the details of the directors and the details of the shareholders who are working in abroad. So how we can deal with such kind of situation? This is one. Second thing, in this aspect, I discussed with the practicing company secretary of our company. What she said to me that this act is applicable from 1st April 2014. Correct? So, till 31st March, it is not applicable. So within 60 days, it is ending on 31st May 2014. So are we, it is mandate for us to file this form before 31st May, and we have to incur some penalties for this?
NO for your case. He is right, your PCS is right in suggesting. Already clarification has given to 31st March, those who are closing their accounts on or before 31st March, they will follow the old act.
Sir, but what will happen in the case wherein we are asking the details of the shareholder of the company which is working in abroad?
Now, ma'am, you have to, if you want to do business in India, you have to follow the law of the land. So if you are a foreign company having established a place of business in India, PE बोलते हैं ना, permanent establishment.
Yes.
So last
If you have,
question.
hold. PE, you are having PE, then you need to, comply the law of the land. The law of the land is now more disclosure about yourself. Who are you? Because today, you are sitting in Timbuktu, you are there in the BV Island, British Virgin Island, you have a $1 company, you are having a subsidiary in India, or branch office in India, or representative office of India. Lakhs of dollars you are now taking a structuring business here from India. You are not supposed to tell yourself who are you. So this is another SIT ban gaya hai, madam, under the chairmanship of MB Shah. So abhi ye uska kahan? Abhi na new incorporation. The director, foreign director, supposed to give the undertaking by way of affidavit whether the company is now going to have the NBFC activities, etc. That is also requirement. And you know that INC 10. INC 10 is required. So you have to follow. Similarly, that for obtaining a DIN number for a foreign director, you have to also follow if the Hong Kong doesn't provide a license, provide a residential address in the license, that is not your problem and my problem or MCA problem. You have to give out of 6 or 7 categories of documents which require the name of the chap and also the proof of the residence, whether utility bill, etc., etc. So you give anyone there, duly notarized, consularized, whatever it is, and then you can get a DIN number. So this is the law of the land today. If it would be hardship being felt, the foreign companies could also make a representation through Chamber of Commerce, through the embassy. The ministry, as and when will think fit, may dilute something. But today, the position is that as a company secretary of a foreign company or sitting in the liaison office, that foreign company is having a liaison office or representative office or the branch office, etc., etc. They should think to follow the law of the land today. That is the position. As far as your filing return is concerned, pertaining to the previous years, yes, following year you have to follow within 60 days. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir.
Ma'am, एक question. इनका बहुत देर.
So last question, yeah,
yes.
please.
I think.
Sir, my question is that if after taking due diligence by the secretarial auditor,
Yes.
if after taking all certificates from all the relevant departments, if something wrong is stated in the secretarial report, so is this the personal view of the members present here that the secretarial auditor will be protected, or is there any circular or anything from the department like if he has taken all due diligence,
I got your point.
he
I
will
got
be
your point.
protected?
You
One.
see the okay.
And second thing is, as you rightly said that from 2009 it has been made voluntary, now it has been made mandatory, and for bringing the levels lower, the company secretaries have to prove their worth. So what is the institute doing for the capacity building of the young members?
Very good. Thank you very much. As far as your first case is concerned, you have to be, when you are doing secretarial audit, you have to give your complete mind and heart and then vision open with the secretarial audit work. If you have sincerely conducted the secretarial audit by going through the process, by getting the documents from the company secretary of the company or some other through his office, to ensure the compliance, because you can't go, like Kamal was mentioning, across the country you have the outlets, and every outlet is subject to the host of the laws applicable to estates. But Kamal, then in that situation, in fact, that we discussed, the consolidated reporting about the compliance of various stores up there in the various estates and the union territory, the local laws are complied with, a consolidated report through the different KMP, office of KMP, if you got it. And you rely based on test check. Sometimes you do test check. Sometimes you visit, Baba. In the particular region, there are some 2-3 branch check, whether these things are happening or not. In the course of audit, because it is not required you to do only once in a year, you can go with the permission of the internal management, visit that particular area, ensuring yourself. They will not say no, because the statute says so. They will provide all assistance. They will provide all assistance, including your travel, to visit to that to ensure the compliance. 1, 3, 4. Can you read, 204, subsection 2 or subsection 3? This talks about all this, man. Now, as far as that part is concerned, if you have exhausted your diligence, if you have done put your heart and soul together and come out with a report, and something goes wrong, later part been found, you have to, there is no protection kind of thing, but you have to prove beyond doubt the reasonableness that you have conducted with diligently, efficiently, etc. In the, like, case of some report is coming to you, your name would be there, you have to give your answer, so-called notice, etc. You have to prove beyond doubt that you have conducted diligently, you have not colluded, you are not associated with the organization. So these are the points. As far as, what was the second point you were at? Capacity building. Very right. I think that is one of the seminars that today we have been discussing. It's a part of that. Regional office and chapters have been empowered. As far as CC is concerned, CC is coming out with a document called as a guidance. A very exhaustive document with a checklist, probable checklist. Please do not only confine to that checklist. It is a probable checklist for you. You have to also tweak yourself according to the corporate to which you have been associated with. Okay? You got the point. But there is a guidance note coming up. I told in the course of discussion, in a month or so, you have a document helping the PCS, helping the secretarial auditor in discharging his or her responsibility as a secretarial auditor. Thank you so very much once again. Ajit Jan Sahab, my brother, hold.
No, my question is arising out of question raised by Kamal and the lady, that those companies which have multi-locational offices, like service sector industry and all that, it is a very valid concern with regard to the applicability of the local laws.
Yes.
Now, can the same system which is applicable for statutory audit for accounts, that you appoint the branch auditor,
it will come.
Can that system be followed here?
But not today, but definitely this could be a new, because it's the beginning of the thing.
No, it may not be statutory, but can the secretarial auditor,
himself
can he insist the company that since you have so many locations, I have no access to them?
Adequate safeguard is there in the statute, sir, today. Yes. Yeah, optional, 209. Sir.
It will depend upon the auditor.
Yes.
The
Secretarial auditor. Yes, sir.
To suggest to the company
Very
to
right.
appoint the branch auditors.
Very right. I think it's a very good, nothing not discussed. Yes.
The Rome was not built in a day.
Sir.
Financial audit started way back in 1913. Today it has got a shape.
Yes.
We started secretarial audit with an optional audit when compliance report 83A 2001.
2000 में आपने लिया था.
Was made by nothing but Arun Jaitley.
Yes.
He got it done when we had only 300 members in practice.
Today
And he asked me go and prepare a list of 6,000 members. We converted that list to 6,000 because there was a lot of pressure from the Institute of Chartered Accountants at that time, how exclusive area can be given to a company secretary. And he asked me how many members are in practice. I told him 600, 300 are just holding because they're retired people. 300 are others. He says, कैसे देंगे पंजाबी में? मजाक कर रहे हैं, मरवा देगा. Then he asked me, go prepare a list. We prepare a projected list. And we got the limit of 10 lakhs. And I'm sure that this secretarial audit which has been introduced, the shape will change, the nature will change, everything will change. The word all acts.
Yes.
We wanted to restrict it to the Companies Act only, but they said no, all audits. So slowly and slowly, what I would suggest is, there's a role of study circles now. Study circle meetings should be held regularly, and youngsters, middle age, senior, small companies, middle companies, bigger companies. A lot of work has to be done by seniors. Tell them what are the requirements, and this has to be mutually done. I think the institute, whatever effort they may do it, they will not be able to have, they will not succeed till all of you get involved and help each other.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay,
question inka. Yeah.
Okay, last question, and then, please, offline then.
I think one chapter is here. Jain Sahab is going to deal with. I will answer you during tea break. Only CSR issues.
Sir.
But Jain Sahab is there to guide us.
Sir, as
second audit. So hold. Sir, एक second.
Sir, as we know, now the deposits cannot be accepted from the members, except with the consultation of RBI. Okay. Now my question is this, whether RBI has created any mechanism wherein such type of consultation or approval will be given by NBFC? Is there any institute has done anything with RBI so that we members can get this new scope of practice also there?
Ministry is in touch with and got this, internal, and then they have come out with the rules. The rules were notified in consultation with RBI as far as acceptance of deposits is concerned. Now, NBFC is being taken away from the provisions of chapter 5. 73 to 76 sections are not applicable to non-banking finance company. Clear, sir? So it will be there, it will be regulated by NBFC, and therefore, any incorporation you are today doing, being questioned by ROC, whether you are accepting deposits or not. You give undertaking on buyer of affidavit that you are not going to accept any deposits, etc. As and when you do so, sir, you have to go first to get yourself license, etc. So I'll get back to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Actually, we want to know procedure of the appointment of secretarial auditors. The secretary shall be appointed same way like statutory auditors appointment.
Sorry?
Secretarial auditor's appointment is
like a statutory auditors.
Today you, sir.
Board meeting,
yes,
then shareholders
very
approval.
Right. Very good. No, I think it's your wish should be, it will be at par with tomorrow. But today what is happening, half of the portion, 143 I mentioned you, half of the portion is coming to you. This is the first year of your audit. Please do your heart and soul in conducting the audit. Give it to the board. Let the board also and shareholders to review, regulators to see through your report. And then maybe tomorrow, it will come when they will definitely come. As Dr. Narang mentioned, he is a seasoned, associated. Rome was not built in one day. It took a lot of time. Similarly, sectoral audit. They started the 88 journey, I mentioned. They reached to the today level. We got also one line. 143 says, rights and duties and powers are at par with the statutory auditor. As far as secretary. So today, but tomorrow maybe after a couple of years or after you're doing good job to the society and the regulator, they will come, yes, his appointment to be also regulated mutatis with a larger pool. Abhi to abhi chota hai.
So big hand, Saji.
Thank you.
And please be back at 12. We want to